Hello and welcome to the Metropolitan Elites. We've been reading The New Day, this new idea of a newspaper, and it's all about making it positive, yeah? Because the news is negative and obviously it's a thing.
Yeah, one of the important things is neutral as well. It wasn't going to be,
that's
informative.
So a new independent, really, that's the idea, isn't it? But headline, Teachers in SATs Cheating Scandal. So the difference is... nothing. It's all like a magazine, it's all on weird paper and stuff.
Well,
So I suppose that's the idea, it's more like articles rather than news, isn't it?
yeah, well, the game's over for the New Day now, so nothing.
Yeah, I think it was a gamble, it didn't cost them much to do, I think that was the idea.
Yeah. It's a shame, actually. I mean, the idea is good, but obviously people don't want facts.
Yeah, they don't want facts, and they don't want things on paper either.
Yeah. So, moment of the week, Kev. What's your moment of this week?
My moment of the week is Trump is on course to be Emperor of the world. Oh dear. But we said it would happen, and you know, I have faith in humanity that, like we said, that you know, he's been so extreme on just because he wins over nutters doesn't mean he's going to win over the people in the middle, which he has to win over to win. If he did do that, he's got to change tack massively now, and not just eating a taco and saying, I love Hispanics.
Yeah, but I mean, here we are. I mean, Hillary's quite a weak candidate, yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, everyone says, oh, she's got this 20-point lead over him or whatever it is.
But he can
Bernie Sanders had double that
Yeah.
distance to make up, and he basically made it up, yeah. So, I mean, it's unlikely that Trump is going to be able to win over the sections that he needs to win, but don't rule anything out.
It's gonna be horrible. I hadn't thought about this. I thought, well, that's the boring option. But if it was Sanders versus Trump, it would have been amazing.
Yeah, it would have been.
But actually, this is the horrible option. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be really nasty. It's going to be terrifying because it's going to be close. And Hillary will probably win. We hope.
Yeah.
But you can't really be sure.
It'll be quite a bruising affair, and no one will come out of it very well.
I think someone who knows him has said actually that the political position he's putting on isn't him at all, and he's actually much more clued up than he puts on, and he actually has opinions on the other side.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in the past he's been labelled a Democrat.
Yeah.
But I think he's carved himself a niche where he can say anything he wants.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and people support him, so he can change that. He'll just change that.
Perhaps his supporters are so zealous that if he starts talking about social justice and...
Well, I think he's galvanised in the GOP. He's galvanised the anti-establishment vote.
Yeah.
So, anti-establishment isn't necessarily about specific policies.
Yeah, it's just anti-establishment. Yeah. And obviously that's Hillary's big weakness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. Well, we'll see how that plays out. My moment of the week is not such a big thing. It's Barclays this week started offering 100% mortgages again, and increasing the amount people could borrow. Which I thought is...
It's going back to the way it was.
Well, we are very close to where we were before the big crash in 2008.
Do you think we're going to go into meltdown again?
Well, the economy is slowing down, and we don't seem to be doing a fantastic amount about it. And the defences we have against recession, they've all been deployed. So meltdown, possibly.
Or do you think it's just going to be a bit shit?
Well, I think we could be looking at a consistent...
I mean, that's better, isn't it? I mean, 5 years of a bit shit is better than a proper crash.
Yeah. But I think something needs to change.
Yeah, we're in a strange position compared to other countries where we've got a not very competent government who've got a particular position where they can do what they like and they're not very good at doing what they like.
I thought that was interesting. What actually has changed over the last 5 years?
Yeah.
It just seems, debt to household income ratios are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
We're looking at 100% mortgages again. We're looking at a debt-fueled boom. Although, it's not even a boom. A debt-fueled steadier the ship.
Yes.
There's no boom involved.
So it is a...
The debt is fueling
this, isn't it? It's all about that.
Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. So what we've done this week is I think every week we're gonna make a post on Reddit or Twitter.
We're going to troll Reddit basically. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be quite funny.
Yeah. So I've posted a question on Reddit. This is Friday. The results from the local elections are still coming in.
Yeah.
And we're going to discuss that in a minute. But I posted something on Reddit which will no doubt likely. And the idea is to get as many downvotes as possible in the period of the show.
So this was what, 10 minutes ago?
10 minutes ago, at the start of the show, just before we press record, I posted a poll on Reddit which was, will Jeremy Corbyn's victory in the local elections put pressure on Linton Crosby to go? Two options, yes or no. And if I just do a quick refresh. Ooh, we are currently on 3 votes for yes and 2 votes for no.
Good.
Does that make sense?
Good. Yeah, so that's on everything.
But we've got 25% unvoted, so presumably we've had quite a few downvotes in there.
Well, genuinely, Linton Crosby isn't the king of the castle he was yesterday, is he?
No.
Because
Obviously, I mean, we're spilling over into the discussion here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Tories should be, well, the argument is the Tories should be absolutely in meltdown at the moment over the European referendum.
Yes.
The endless stream of U-turns that have followed the budget. I mean, we're in omnishambles times 10 sort of territory.
Yeah, it's so much worse than that, and yet the media aren't saying it.
Yeah, but we've had this anti-Semitism, which really gave Linton Crosby a,
it must have been his big planned thing, I'm sure. I think, to go out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what do you think of the local election results thus far that have come in?
Yeah, well, I think the story isn't the results, really. The results tell us nothing. They actually tell us nothing. No information, really, because Labour effectively are coasting. So it doesn't tell us anything about Jeremy Corbyn, because they're at much the same level they were at the great night of 2012, which apparently went really well.
Yeah.
Now that we're in the same position with Jeremy Corbyn, apparently it isn't.
It's terrible.
Yeah. But you could argue, well, there's a thing about have the protest votes still there or not, and UKIP are still doing stuff. It's not the big thing they did have, but so they're kind of still there. But then again, they do well in this kind of election and not in the other elections. So it doesn't tell us that much. The SNP have done fantastically in Scotland, and obviously that's what the media have been saying. Election results, Scotland, don't look in England, but that's a bounce from the election as well. So it doesn't really tell us anything. It was all that was inevitable anyway. And the Tories have done a bit better in Scotland, but that's because Tory voters aren't going to be voting SNP, are they? I don't think they will. Obviously, it's the nationalist thing. Tories are from London and Southern, and it's the home counties and all that, isn't it? So that doesn't tell us anything either. And as well, that if it's a protest vote, is Corbyn coasting about protest votes keeping him up, or is it that he would have done fantastically and he's incredibly popular, and the very effective media campaign blitz we had last week of really got in there with some really powerful stuff, did that actually have an effect, and that's why he's only down there, and said he's actually the most popular man in the world? I don't think so. I think that had no effect, and that must be a chilling prospect for Linton Crosby, that his master plan didn't do anything. So the Tories did okay, Labour did okay, SNP are doing well in Scotland. That's a surprise.
So everyone's happy, yeah. Basically, yeah. I mean, a lot of the focus today is on Linton Crosby, Sadiq Khan, because the results that are coming in are showing that Sadiq Khan has actually bossed it.
Yeah,
which suggests the incredibly negative campaign.
Yeah, the racism
didn't work.
Didn't work.
So I saw, I think was it a 7 or 9% swing to Labour in one of the Tory heartlands, one that they would expect to win. Which if you do that across the board, then it is sort of like the kind of victory Ken Livingstone got when he was London Mayor.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Stating facts again.
Oh, those facts. Those pesky facts. But that's the thing. I mean, there was two huge things. One was the racism. One was the accusations of racism, which is obviously much more disturbing. If it's right, that is completely baffling. As I said last week, I don't understand that. If you're in the Labour Party, how can you be a racist? Aren't you in the wrong party? The party that is the whole point, part of the main thrust of the party was anti-racism.
But I mean, sort of you expand it to the country. I mean, incredibly negative campaigns, and yeah, Labour. Okay, they've lost a few seats by the looks of it, but they generally maintain that high watermark.
Yeah.
which suggests the negativity doesn't actually get through to the public. Now,
Yeah.
we've had about a year of it so far,
Yeah.
and maybe after 5 years, the team really will say, and people really will be conditioned to.
Well,
to
you said all those months ago, didn't you? You say, well, people are just going to get fed up with it because it's so ridiculous. It just goes round and round and round and round and round. That people are it's just going to be, they're not going to hear it.
I mean, the danger is for the Conservatives and for the right in the Labour Party and for the media, who are all hostile to Corbyn, that actually it sets in that the establishment are against Jeremy Corbyn. So the negative stories you hear are dismissed because people know that Jeremy Corbyn's not getting a fair crack of the whip.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case, maybe not, I don't know.
But that's it, we don't know. The results don't tell us anything. Other than that, well, the only thing it tells us is that the negative campaigning probably didn't do anything.
Yeah, well, it also tells us that Jeremy Corbyn's not going anywhere soon because it's nowhere near as tragic as
They wanted.
as they were predicting.
They were saying losing 150.
150 seats.
We lost about 20.
And they're going to, and even then, at 150 seats, people saying, "Well, really, is he going to go?" Because he's got such strong support in the grassroots. If they go in early, they're just going to look like idiots because the Labour Party will spend a lot of money re-electing Jeremy Corbyn.
that would be quite funny as well. I mean, but obviously, so now after the results, it's popcorn at the ready, really. For all the media reading, they're trying to squirm out of it is going to be very entertaining. And already, the Guardian, I saw through the day them changing the headlines because it started off as sort of they've lost in Scotland, oh no. By lunchtime, it was a mixed result for Labour. So really, but and to be fair, there's nothing to. It's very difficult to have a headline for nothing. No news. The result is there.
Yeah. I mean, while we're talking about news races, the interesting thing was how nice was it yesterday when there was no reporting on it, anything anyone said, any coups in the backgrounds, any sort of backbench revolts or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know that sometimes when the electricity goes out during the day because there's a power cut, and suddenly you think, I don't have to do anything because there's no power. How relief it kind of felt like that a little bit, and so you suddenly get an insight as to how much these things, they affect you. They affect your sort of your attitude and stuff like that.
And that even when you see it as satire and you laugh at it, it still affects you.
Yeah.
I found that with the thing last week, that it was changing my belief in what had happened, and I had to go back and realise that what I thought was happening hadn't been happening, and they lied to me. So it means they're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
And what our opinions are always being changed by things that aren't necessarily reality.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, the ultimate thing would be if Labour had done really well and completely defied it and made some kind of gains. That would be nice, Can you imagine that?
But that would be so ridiculous because the way the media has been is so extreme.
Yeah.
They would look like complete fools.
Yeah.
They would have to fix it. I read a few. You always read stories of voter fraud, and every election, Nigel Farage phones the police. But I've read a couple of things about apparently that someone found some Labour votes hidden under, with a Tory vote on top, saying this is a pile of Tory votes, and there was Labour votes underneath. I don't think it means anything, but obviously it turns out that the Tories did cheat in the general election, but not in that way.
Yeah. As we go on, how this sort of unfolds is kind of
really funny.
Well, it is kind of funny,
really
but I mean,
entertaining.
What's
squirming?
I don't know what happens with it. I don't really know what it does for the Conservatives. They're still in the middle of this EU referendum sort of campaign, and realistically, they should be going out lauding it now. Normally, the Conservatives will be out saying, "Oh, this abject failure of Jeremy Corbyn, blah blah blah." It just shows what a pathetic shambles he is. But realistically, now their attention is turning back in on themselves. So you've got the academisation plan, the U-turn on that coming up.
Yeah.
You've got the junior doctor thing.
A pause.
Yeah, an important sort of
okay,
thing there.
you can pause.
and then you've got the EU referendum. Now, something occurred to me. I mean, there have been so many U-turns. Yeah, I mean, there is the theory that, or the belief that some deal has been done over the trade union bill as well to get trade unions to campaign for remaining in Europe. Or it thinks that maybe the Conservative strategy is to, if you do a U-turn on a relatively minor policy, relatively minor, it's seen as weakness, but something that's really draconian,
yeah,
and then you U-turn, it has a weird effect of making you think, well, maybe they're not that bad after all. Actually, they're not that bad.
Well, they didn't actually do that. They didn't actually kill all the children. So maybe they're not that bad.
And it's weird that we got this news of the Syrian children will be laid in just before the local elections.
Yeah.
We got the softening of the position towards the junior doctors just before the elections. And sort of like we've been fed these U-turns over the last week now, and I suspect that this is just electioneering, and maybe Labour would be better off if they just said, rather than rise to it and say, oh, this is ridiculous, this is really, really horrid, because it just fuels the point when they do the U-turn, just say, okay, this is your manifesto, can you tell me how you're getting on with it? Okay, thanks for informing me. And just go along with it for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with it, but I mean, you've got...
Okay, go on then.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean, this is what the UK government, the UK people voted for, so go and do it.
Well, it's risky business, isn't it? Obviously, so Jeremy Corbyn supports the Tories. That will be the headline.
Well, you can say I'm not. You can say quite explicitly I don't support it, but you've got a mandate for it. So how are you getting on with it? How are you getting on with implementing your mandate?
Well, at least sort of. They've sort of got a mandate.
And then when they do a U-turn, it looks a bit
ridiculous. But I mean, obviously the grand Tory plan was not to have someone like Jeremy Corbyn opposite them. It was to have an Ed Miliband, at the most extreme, have an Ed Miliband, or preferably a more Blairite than Miliband. It's possible they expected Chuck Ramuna to be there.
Yeah.
And he was going to do it, and said, no, I'm actually not going to do it. But then maybe that's a plan. Maybe that Labour actually, this is a long-term plan, and actually they've got someone, to keep the grassroots happy, and then maybe Chuck Ramuna's going to come in but late, 2019.
Yeah.
2018, 2019, and
save the day. Yeah. Well, then, should we have a look at how this has done? So we've been on, 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
So, refresh, so it's 33% upvoted. That's good. So we're still on 0. This is interesting. Vote yes. Jeremy Corbyn's victory will put pressure on Linton Crosby to go. 4 votes. No, 2 votes. I didn't expect that at all.
No. Have we got any comments?
Yeah, we've got loads of comments.
Oh, good.
Labour are currently 25 seats down. How has he maintained? Apparently losing seats to an unpopular government during midterm local elections is a victory if you don't lose as many as predicted. Okay, so tune in next week when we'll do another one of these. Yeah,
we'll troll Reddit once more and annoy them. Yeah. Hopefully a bit more, because it didn't... I seemed alright with it.
Maybe we'll do Twitter or Facebook, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll do, we'll troll all the social doobie sites.
Get a rise out of them.
Yeah.
So the lizards ring us up. They haven't rung us up for a while, but they rung us up.
Yeah.
Obviously, because we're pretending that Jeremy Corbyn didn't lose massively.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the lizards.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week for more news.